Hi guys, session 3 on willpower today. And yesterday I shared with you the key kind of psychological tools and techniques you can use essentially to overcome impulses and to overcome procrastination when it comes to the things that you need to do to stay healthy. But in an ideal world, we wouldn't need to use these tools because as I mentioned about keeping up your vitality and your state and being in a positive physiology and a positive level of kind of mental fitness, so that you don't even need to make these choices or use these tools. And it all comes down to the actions that you take in 4 key areas, and I call them the 4 doctors. In fact, one of my mentors, a guy called Paul Check, calls them the 4 doctors, and I've learned that from him. And the 4 doctors are Doctor Diet, Doctor Quiet, Doctor Movement, Doctor Happiness. These are the 4 kind of fundamental kind of human needs, if you like, the 4 areas that we have to interact with, I suppose, in a way. The 4 areas of our body that we have to interact, we have to put some input into, so we make choices on our diet about what we're eating, what we're putting into our body. We make choices about how we move our body. We make choices about the rest we get and stuff like that. And we make choices about the things that we do. Do we do enough things that make us feel happy? So these are areas that are important to health, but essentially are dictated by our choices. Now, it takes some willpower to do these things, but the most important thing, and this is the key that I always want you guys to remember, is sometimes it takes a small action to improve. So it takes, or better way of putting it, it takes a little bit of willpower to give you a lot of willpower. So little small positive habits will lead to having a lot more willpower to overcome some of the urges, some of the impulses, some of the apathy, sometimes some of the lethargy. You can overcome all of these things by consistent positive habits. Okay, so I've done a little check sheet for you to print off, and if you want to do this daily, then it would be great, because ultimately what gets measured gets managed. So even if you are ticking off this checklist at the end of every day, every item on that list you're going to be working on every day on a much more regular basis than if you didn't print off the checklist. So here, I'll share it with you. You're welcome to use it, and I'm just going to run through it with you now. So every day, at the end of the day, you'd kind of check this off and really compare it to the level of willpower that you feel that you had on that day, and start to notice the trends, and you'll start to notice that when you do more of these things, you feel much better. So Dr. Diet, 4 areas that we look at with Dr. Diet. First of all, was your first meal healthy? Because that's the one that sets the store for the day. Doesn't matter when it was. If you skip breakfast, that's fine. But was your first meal healthy? Did you eat sufficient protein in the day? Did you drink enough water? And did you avoid sugar? So tick each of the boxes that apply. Dr. Quiet, did you have a good night's sleep? So that encompasses all elements. Did you get enough sleep? Did you sleep well, or was it interrupted, etc.? Did you plan your day? Planning your day is important for Dr. Quiet, because Dr. Quiet is about kind of not being stressed. So if you plan your day, you have a less stressful day, you have a less busy day. So that really helps with Dr. Quiet. So have you planned your day out? Now that could be just in your head, could be a very informal plan, but have you got a little bit of a structure to your day to avoid it being stressful and to avoid you being kind of sidetracked by stuff? Did you take time out to recharge? Okay, and did you eat your meals in peace? That's a big one. A lot of people eat meals, in a rush, while doing other things, and that's not great from a rest and digest perspective. So they're the 4 areas of Dr. Quiet. Dr. Movement, Did my planned workout, so did you do the planned workout for the day? I.e., if you were planning to do a workout, did you do that? Now, if it was a rest day today, if you weren't planning a workout today, then that's fine. You can also get a tick. It's kind of not appropriate, but give yourself a tick. Were you proactively active? Did you take the stairs instead of the lift if you had a choice? Did you walk a little bit more rather than drive if you had the choice? Were you deliberately active, or did you have a little walk around when you had a bit of downtime? Did you spend a few minutes stretching, working on maybe the tight areas for you, the areas where you're at risk of injury, for example? Did you spend a few minutes doing some stretches? And did you move your body every hour? Okay, so if you're sat at work, especially if you're at home at the kitchen table doing your work, every hour, are you getting up and moving around a little bit? Okay, even just for 30 seconds or a minute. They're the 4 on Dr. Movement. And then on Dr. Happiness, did you practice gratitude? Either just by consciously trying to be grateful for stuff, or even writing down a grateful log, which is a really cool tool to do. Did you connect with someone? Did you connect with a friend? Did you do something nice for someone else, which is hormonally very, very good for us in terms of oxytocin, which is a really important hormone for us to feel good. So did you do something nice for someone else? And did you have fun? Did you do something fun today? That could have been as simple as taking a few minutes to scroll through Facebook and look at some memes and have a laugh or whatever. Could be reading a bit of a book that makes you laugh. Whatever it is, did you have some fun? Okay, so we've got a score out of 16. And then at the end of that, when you've done all that, have a look at your score and then kind of say, right, out of 100, my perceived willpower today was, and what was it? So, if you just didn't even have any temptation to go off the plan, to cheat, to eat unhealthily, to skip your workout, then it's 100. If you did your workout, you ate perfectly healthily, and you'll see it's a bit of a misnomer. Again, we've talked about this. Does willpower even exist? So when you say perceived willpower, well, actually, if it's like 80, 90, 100, that kind of means willpower was a little bit unnecessary because you weren't tempted anyway. But have a think about it. Or likewise, you might have been tempted, but you were strong enough to overcome it, and that gives you a high score as well. So compare and contrast, guys, and what you will start to notice, and then it becomes positive reinforcement, that when you do more of these things, you have more willpower. And then that's great because all the positive habits beget more positive habits. And then finally, at the end of the week, you don't have to do this, but if you choose to, just do a little bit of a weekly review or comments. Where could you improve? What have you learned? What are you going to do better next week? Okay. So print this off, guys. Use it every day. Start to see trends. But most importantly, when you're starting to monitor those habits and measure them, you're going to be managing them. You're going to be incorporating them much more and more. So I'll speak to you tomorrow.